Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Beth Richards, and I'm the Director of Instructional Support at College of the Mainland, and I'm also the SI Supervisor on this campus. Frank Huerta will be joining me today, and together we are going to present on successfully transitioning supplemental instruction to an online modality. Frank is a professional mathematics tutor at College of the Mainland, and he has been assisting with their supplemental instruction program for almost 2 years. He is planning on completing the SI Supervisor training this summer. Typically, we refer to College of the Mainland as COM, so we will be using that abbreviation from this point forward. I know that we are limited on time for the video presentation, so I encourage you to reach out to me or Frank after you view our presentation if you have any questions about our college or the services we are currently offering our students. Presented here on the slide is some information about COM. What I do want to specifically highlight is COM is a Hispanic serving institution, and most of our students are deemed non-traditional and Pell Grant eligible. Supplemental instruction is typically abbreviated as SI, so we will also use that abbreviation from this point forward. The history of SI at COM is somewhat unknown. From what I was able to determine when I arrived, SI at COM began around 2005. 2 faculty members were assigned as the SI supervisors and provided semi-annual trainings, one at the beginning of every fall and spring semester. In the trainings, they would go over the main tenets of SI acquired from the University of Missouri at Kansas City that explain what an SI leader should do and expected protocols to implement. Once I took over in the fall of 2018, I began having monthly meetings with all the SI leaders and additional one-on-one meetings with each SI leader. In the monthly meetings, I would reiterate crucial tenets from the SI Supervisor Manual and model 1 or 2 strategies for the SI leaders to use in their sessions. At the beginning of the spring 2020 semester, we continued to have our monthly SI leader meetings. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, we did not have a lot of time to prepare. Classes were canceled the week after spring break, and then we were informed that all instruction and instructional support had to be moved online. Since our college suddenly closed, I did not have the chance to meet with the SI leaders and prep them on what to do. The first week of remote instruction, I set up a meeting on Teams, which was the platform of choice for our school, and I asked all the SI leaders to attend. Together, we came up with a plan. We changed our monthly meetings to weekly. This was partly to check in and make sure that we were all doing okay. At the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was sort of lost, and continued guidance was vital. Many instructors had never even taught online before, and the science department was grappling with how they were going to transition to online labs. Meeting weekly enabled us to have some consistency, and it ensured that we could talk about any issues that arose. I then used our meeting time to discuss how they were going to deliver their sessions in an online format. Since the instructors that worked with the SI leaders were all using Blackboard Collaborate as a means to lecture, the SI leaders wanted to stick with the same platform so the students would not get confused. This changed during summer 2020, when the SI leaders decided they wanted to start using Teams to conduct their SI sessions. They collectively felt it was better because it was more user-friendly and the students had become accustomed to using Teams from their other classes. Teams does allow for easy access to the whiteboard, which the SI leaders integrate often, the ability to upload files in the chat, and also the ability for the students to use chat instead of their own voice. Lastly, there's a capability of recording all the sessions. This was used during every online session, so students who were unable to attend could view the sessions at a later time. What was probably most surprising was the fact that some of the SI leader sessions saw an increase in session attendance during the pandemic. We believe this was due to the fact it was more accessible. Students who previously did not attend sessions joined because now they had an option to have someone watch their children. They could simply stay at home and still participate. Additionally, some students even joined online sessions while they were at work. As Frank and I were preparing for this presentation, we decided that it would be nice to include some testimonial from current faculty who had had the experience of working with SI leaders pre-COVID-19 and during the pandemic. Dr. Jennifer Bieski is one of our tenured biology faculty at COM, who typically teaches anatomy and physiology and microbiology. During the pandemic, she was assigned SI leaders for all of her anatomy and physiology classes. She graciously agreed to shed some insight regarding her experience with SI leaders. She's a fervent believer in the SI model and loves integrating SI into her courses every semester. Additionally, I sought some feedback from several of our current SI leaders who have been working as SI leaders on this campus for several years. At this time, I encourage you to pause the video so you can read through the testimonial to see a snapshot of the influence SI has had on our campus during the pandemic. The SI program at COM has had much success these past couple of years. Our preliminary data has indicated that students on our campus who regularly attend SI sessions end up with final grades 10 to 20% higher than their classmates who do not attend SI sessions. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to the intricacies of our SI program at COM. Frank Huerta is now going to present some of the strategies that our SI leaders are integrating in their sessions, which have enabled our students to be more successful.
Implications and challenges. Staff acceptance. Getting the faculty and administration to buy into supplemental instruction might be a challenge. Some faculties may have no knowledge of SI or others may be resistant to the concept. So providing clear and specific instructions on what SI is and how it can benefit students is crucial to obtaining buy-in. As a SI supervisor, if you can show faculty how SI can help improve engagement in the course and overall success, they may be more willing to integrate SI in their course. How to help SI leaders improve student cognition. Oftentimes, the concept of study skills is overused and may be ineffective. Introducing SI leaders to the concepts of metacognitive learning may help improve their ability to relay these concepts to the students. I suggest introducing learning styles or preferences in your trainings and provide opportunities for the SI leaders to practice this in training so that they can integrate it in their sessions. In our own department, we just finished reading Teach Students How to Learn by Sandra McGuire, and she provides some excellent strategies that align with the SI model and could prove to be beneficial in your program. Student participation. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we discovered that technology appears to put students' hesitancy participating in group discussions at ease. We have also noticed that providing the options for students to participate in SI using an online modality lessens the anxiety because they don't have to stand in front of a group, and they have the options of whether to turn on their camera or audio. We are currently using Teams as our main platform for instructional support on our campus. Teams enable students to create groups, chat rooms, poll, whiteboards, and the choice of integrating a camera. We have concluded that this option makes it easier for students to engage in discussions for the SI leaders and to facilitate the session. Platforms. Throughout the pandemic, we've learned how to embrace new technology and how to integrate this technology for teaching and learning. There are many different platforms to use, such as Blackboard, Canvas, Zoom, and Teams. But whatever platform your school uses, it is imperative that all SI leaders familiarize themselves with it. At COM, we are currently using the Teams platform, and it is user-friendly. SI leaders and students have quickly learned how to create groups, chat rooms, poll, whiteboards, and integrate the usage of the camera. How to integrate SI strategies in the classroom. For each session, SI leaders should consider the different types of strategies and prepare each session with ample time provided for students' engagement and practice. A well-planned session should be comprised of learning strategies such as an opener, main activity, a closing activity as provided by UMKC. I suggest starting an SI session with an opener activity, which will take about 3 to 5 minutes. This will help you gauge how much knowledge the students know about a particular topic. After the opening activity is completed, the SI leader can transition into the main activity, which will be the focal point of the entire session. Lastly, gauge the success of your sessions with a closing activity like a 1-minute paper or a brain dump as your exit ticket. The informal quiz consists of 5 to 7 questions that should require short answers, or if integrating technology, the ability to poll answers. The informal quiz should be followed by a short debriefing where the short answers to the questions are expanded upon through the discussion. Lastly, the SI leader should always encourage and attempt to facilitate discussions among the students. Concept mapping, the main activity. When applying the concept map in an SI session, identify a central word, concept, or question and place it into the center of the board. Extend the branches out from the center of the circle and include subtopics from the main idea. This visual encourages students to look at the overall picture of the topic and focus on the main ideas. A brain dump is going to be our closing activity. This is a great way to gauge students' knowledge of a topic, but also to determine what the students comprehended and potentially retain from the session. Ensure the students are given a time limit for this activity. It is important to discuss the activity with the students to know how comfortable they feel about the topic. If the SI leader is running short on time, this discussion can take place at the beginning of the next session. This is an example of concept mapping. Recommendations. Explain your SI leaders the proper way to conduct their sessions. Consider modeling the session and provide in-depth examples with the opportunity for them to practice during trainings. Also, encourage SI leaders to combine strategies in their sessions. It is important to explain to the SI leaders that sometimes sessions don't go as planned. It is okay to improve or change gears if the students are not responded. Perhaps try modeling a similar session where something did not go as planned and provide an example on how they should respond. When modeling sessions for the SI leaders, help them create open-ending questions to facilitate discussions among the group. Ensure they have time to practice so they can emulate it in their session. Consider integrating the use of an informal video when appropriate. We have had much success in this, and our SR leaders have begun doing this in their sessions as well. In conclusion, to conclude our presentation, I would like to summarize some of the main points. First, it is integral that the SI supervisors is consistently establishing a rapport with the faculty on campus. Next, the SI supervisor should meet with all the SI leaders as a group at least once per month. I also recommend that the SI leaders can meet one-on-one with the SI supervisor. Consider integrating a hybrid method of SI on your campus. Utilizing remote sessions can improve attendance and ultimately success. During training sessions, make sure you are modeling how the SI leader should be conducting and organizing their sessions. Provide opportunities for the SI leaders to practice will ensure they are prepared and ready to lead their sessions. Feedback is crucial because it ensures the SI leaders know what they are doing well and helps them understand how they can improve. References. Here is a list of references that we used in our presentation. I encourage you to purchase the UMKC SI Leader Strategy cards if you have not done so yet. Unfortunately, we are unable to answer questions since this is a recorded presentation, but Beth and I are happy to respond via email or phone to any questions you may have about our presentation or our program at College of the Mainland. I thank you for your attention today, and I wish you the best of luck with your program. Thank you.